visas, work visas. Can you come here on a holiday visa? I am talking to Desiree from Network Migration.
Over 10 years now.
So you know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing.
What documents should I get ready to immigrate? Can you help someone look for a job? How can you come to New Zealand if you have a trade? See, that's why you need the professionals for advice, because I didn't know this. Hi guys, I'm Carmen, a South African that moved to New Zealand over 2 years ago. And since making my Q&A video with my husband, we have received a lot of questions about immigration. But did you know, legally, I'm actually not allowed to give advice regarding immigration if you aren't an immigration advisor, which I'm not. But that is exactly why I am teaming up with two powerhouse women to answer all your questions. I am talking to Desiree from Network Migration and Ivandee from Migrant Financial Services. Desiree is a registered immigration advisor and she knows all the in and out about visas, work visas. Can you come here on a holiday visa? We are starting out this video series with a Q&A focused on all your immigration questions. I'm immediately going to give her contact details. So if you like this video and you would like to contact her, email this email address and let her know that you saw her on Carmen's video. She would be happy to answer any questions that wasn't covered in this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video so you don't miss out on the other videos coming in this series. So let's get to it. So we are here with Desiree from Network Migration. Hello, Desiree.
Hello.
We have a few immigration questions that I got from my followers wanting to immigrate or who's just a little bit curious. So, firstly, who are you?
I'm Desiree Lindeque. I've been with Network Migration Services for over 10 years now. And
so you know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing. And I'm a fully licensed immigration advisor. Our agency does specifically New Zealand and Australia, so I'm licensed for those.
So now that we know you a little bit better, let's get into the questions. First, is it necessary to use an agent? Are you an agent or an advisor?
So I'm a licensed immigration advisor. There is a difference between the two. You do get educational agents. They're allowed to give you advice on only student visas. So licensed immigration advisors are legally the only people who are allowed to give you immigration advice other than immigration lawyers. And we have to be registered. So it's not a requirement to use a licensed immigration advisor, but if I make at least one recommendation from this question is that you at least get information from a licensed immigration advisor to make sure that any research that you've done yourself is correct and that you're making informed decisions.
How do you know an agency is legitimate and what do you look out for?
Every licensed immigration advisor will have an IAA number, so like I mentioned, we have to be registered. So we have an IAA number which you can find. If you go to the IAA website and you go and say find an advisor, you're able to put that person's name and their license number in, and that will confirm that they are still licensed. And then that would kind of give you the details of the agency as well to make sure that they are licensed and reputable.
So if someone was a licensed advisor, but they aren't anymore, and they want to give advice, would it be dated advice? How quickly does it change?
If you went onto the IAA website, you would immediately see that that person is no longer licensed and therefore legally are not able to give you that advice without repercussions. I think the immigration industry is changing all the time. We get updates almost weekly now, whereas 10 years ago, policy changed every 2 years. So I think we get far more updates now, and having an advisor that's in the know with a current license is going to be more beneficial for you than having someone who might not be keeping on top of all those updates.
Can you, as an immigration advisor, help someone look for a job?
A lot of immigration agencies will partner with companies. Our company specifically, we have a job search division as part of our organization. We will do LinkedIn training with our clients. We will help them to set up their CV in the New Zealand format. And then because we have a partner company, NMS Recruit, we deal with a lot of employers and recruiters in New Zealand to be able to give you those contacts that you need once you get here, so that you are reaching out to the right people to give you the best opportunity to get that job.
So you can actually get an immigration advisor before getting a job and having that sorted. Because I personally thought an immigration advisor is only there for after you get a job.
There are advisors that do prefer you to come to them with the job offer, but I think our agency, we like doing it a bit differently. We like to hold your hand through the entire process, and that's going to be getting your documentation ready before you get that job offer. No employer wants to hear, I need to wait 3 months for my birth certificate from Home Affairs. So we like to get our clients document ready before we start actively job searching. There's certain occupations as well that require registration, and recruiters won't necessarily look at you without you having that registration. So having teachers and nurses contact us before they get a job offer is going to be more beneficial, because once they have that registration, it's going to be far easier for them to be looking at getting employment.
See, that's why you need the professionals for advice, because I didn't know this. Perfect segue to the next question. What documents should I get ready to immigrate if I don't have a job offer yet?
We would be recommending that you get your personal documents ready. Those are things that are going to take time, so it's better to start them off when you are in your initial infancy stages of the immigration process. It's going to be your passports, your unabridged marriage certificates, your unabridged birth certificates. So having those documents on hand are going to be very beneficial just as you start the process. As you get into the process and you know your pathway to residence, that will open up what employment documents and what qualification documents you might need later on down the line as well.
How much does a visa and advisor fee cost?
Each immigration agency is different with their costing. I strongly recommend that you reach out to a licensed immigration advisor to get that pathway, because each person's immigration process is going to look slightly different. So the visa costs might be different based on what they're looking to apply for. So if you get that pathway, which again, as I mentioned before, we do it for absolutely free. It's a free consultation. It's a free eligibility assessment. That document will have all the costs involved for the entire process, and it also detail your time frame so that you know what the processing times are and what you can factor in that time frame.
A question I think all of us are wondering. If we do the free consultation, are we obliged to use you as an advisor?
Absolutely not. So all my eligibility assessments and my consultations are absolutely free. A lot of the people that are already in New Zealand will reach out to me and ask me things just to confirm their understanding, and I'm absolutely happy to do that for them, because I want them to make informed decisions. At the end of the day, we want them to get residence and, come to New Zealand permanently as they intended. So I'm happy to have those meetings. There's no obligation to make use of my services. If you did want to make use of my services, it would be once I'm representing you for a specific visa and I'm doing work for you. So yeah.
And then if we have the consultation, then you give a quote on how much those services will cost.
Yes, so with your eligibility assessment, you will have all the visa costs and the immigration costs that are from government agencies as part of the process. And then you will also have our fees as an agency to complete those services for you, to act as your representative, to deal with all the questions from INZ and how to respond to those. So we will act on your behalf.
All the admin.
Yes.
We did all the admin ourselves, and it's a lot. So I'm sure the fee is worth it. Get work. Oh, this question was asked a few times, because I know a few years back this was valid. But for now, for 2025, can you get a work while you are here on a holiday visa?
So this is going to be a very careful answer, because the answer is yes. However, you do need to be honest with INZ as to what your intentions are. If you are saying in that visitor visa, because it's a general visitor visa, that you're coming to New Zealand with the intention of seeking employment and for, look, see and decide, that's what it's called in immigration terms, that you're looking for areas where you could be potentially interested in living, schools, etc., that is absolutely fine, because you're being upfront with your intentions. So yes, you can then get an offer of employment if the employer is already accredited and has the job check ready and you're happy to stay in New Zealand whilst your visa is being processed. You can absolutely do that. I think the problem comes in where people apply for a general visitor visa for holiday purposes and then get employment, because then INZ might question how genuine you were in that application.
Let's say I'm taking a wild shot. I'm doing a holiday visa, coming for a look-see, but I'm saying that I'm coming to visit someone. And now I get a job. What is the implications if INZ finds out that I basically lied? Can I get deported? Can it ruin like my chances of residency? What's the risk?
It has the potential to become a character concern because INZ look at your character quite strictly with any visa application. So they will, in every subsequent visa application, look at your character. And if they come across that you've given information that was incorrect or that you've misconstrued information, it's going to be a character concern against you. I'm not saying that you couldn't argue what had happened or how it had happened, but what I am saying is that it's going to be a far more difficult process, and you want your visa application process to be as easy and quick as possible. You don't want these comebacks from INZ when they're scrutinizing character.
Because it's already stressful enough.
Exactly.
So in a situation where you want to come for a holiday and look for a work, would you recommend to rather, if that's your plan, to get you as an advisor, basically?
I would recommend reaching out to an immigration advisor because they're going to tell you what documents you should have prepared to have that visa approved. Because there's a lot more into a visitor visa for job search purposes than there is for a general visitor visa. You need to really prove your intentions and that you're planning on going back to South Africa if you're not in a position to find an offer of employment in New Zealand.
How can you come to New Zealand if you have a trade and experience for that trade?
I think these are one of the best clients to have. So trades are always an occupation that's in demand in New Zealand. So it depends on what the trade is. Certain trades will require registration, and we would absolutely work with you to get that registration in place before we hand you over to recruiters. Like I mentioned previously, we actually have recruiters that are screaming for trades at the moment. So
to know
if there are certain trades, specifically the ones that are on the Greenlist at the moment are very much sought after, we can then get you document ready to hand you over to those recruiters that are able to look for employment for you or put you in touch with other people or other organizations that might be looking for your occupation.
Specific question came from someone that is a diesel mechanic. Are they still highly in demand?
Absolutely. So diesel mechanics, they're also on the Greenlist. So they've got a 2-year pathway to residence. And there's a huge need for diesel mechanics at the moment. So if you are the person that asked this question, absolutely reach out to me and I will give you that free eligibility assessment and put you in touch with any organizations that might be looking for you.
Perfect. Mail and just say, I am the diesel mechanic from the video. And then boom. What if my occupation is not on the green list? Can I still immigrate? These questions just flow so nicely.
Absolutely. So you are absolutely able to immigrate without an occupation on the green list. The green list is not the only pathway to residence, and in fact we've got 2 brand new pathways to residence that will be brought in as of August next year, which is exceptionally exciting. So yes, if you're in any other occupation other than the green list occupations, it's best to have that initial consultation with an advisor so that you know what your pathway to residence is before coming over, and then you can start taking those steps to work towards that pathway. It might mean that you need to earn at a certain bracket. It might mean that you need to work in New Zealand for a couple of years, but at least you know what you need to do in order to gain residence so that you're making those informed steps whilst you're here.
What if you're married and both of you have an occupation on the green list? On whose visa do you come over?
Completely up to you, because you would have 2 pathways to residence. So again,
Score.
having a licensed immigration advisor have a look at that information for you is probably going to be the best course of action. If you're an occupation that's on the green list tier 1 and you're married to someone who might be on the green list tier 2, then we would obviously choose the straight to residence option. So having that licensed advisor review your documentation and say this is going to be the cheaper, more efficient option for you for residence is always helpful.
That's a good situation to be in, to have 2 pathways. How can I get citizenship quicker?
So you can't get citizenship quicker, unfortunately. You have to be a resident in New Zealand for a minimum of 5 years, and it works on a presence test. So you need to be in New Zealand for majority of the year each year for the 5 years in order to gain citizenship.
So we went to visit my sister for her wedding for a month. Does that add an extra month on our 5 years, or is that fine?
No, that's absolutely fine. The requirement is that you spend a minimum of 183 days in a year that you have to physically be in New Zealand.
Okay.
So it's roughly about 6 months that you have to be in the country in order for the year to count in your favor.
Who has 6 months holiday? That would be a dream. So it's definitely doable for everyone.
Absolutely.
Can you get PR under 2 years, and on which visa?
Yes, you can, but there's only one exception to that. Most clients are going to, unfortunately, have to have the resident visa for 2 years. And then once you reach that 2-year anniversary, then you're applying for PR. The exception to that is if you are a partner of a New Zealand citizen or resident and you've been with that partner for more than 5 years, because then you can apply for PR immediately.
So you can't start dating a Kiwi?
No.
Just had to ask. Okay, so the following questions are from specific scenarios. Can I immigrate with my 19-year-old disabled son?
There's a lot to unpack in that question. We'll need a medical or health report in order to give you the information that you require to make that informed decision. I will say it is risky to come over with children that are disabled, but it's not impossible based on the severity of the condition. It might be a case of you sending us that information and us advising you that you need to go and speak to an immigration lawyer. Or if it is something that we can assist and we can see that it's something that we can get through to immigration by motivating it, then we'll tell you what those risks look like, what the chances are, and you can then make that decision.
We don't have citizenship for an English-speaking country, but we are coming over on a straight-to-residency visa. Do we still need to do the IELTS test?
You do require IELTS or PTE or any of the English tests that are recognized for New Zealand, even if you are doing straight-to-residence. There are certain exceptions if you have citizenship from certain countries or if you've studied in certain countries.
Does it make a difference that they have been working in America for 10 years?
No. So it's specifically the citizenship you hold and then if you studied.
I applied for the Australian 190 visa, lodged it in August 2024. Is there any way to speed up a lodged application?
Unfortunately not. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. But the subclass 189 and 190 applications are currently taking up to 19 months to process, unfortunately. So you're going to be in the system for a while. What I recommend doing, I always advise clients to make sure that if they did give medicals or police clearances that were close to expiring when you submitted the application, just be prepared that they might come back on month 19 to ask for new medicals or new police clearances. So make sure that you have those documents ready and that you're prepared mentally for those types of requests.
I want to bring my parents over. What's the steps?
So this is actually a very exciting question because a lot of you might know that we have the Parent Boost Visitor Visa that was just introduced. So that was legislated and came through in September. So if you're a resident, you might have the opportunity to sponsor your parents for the Parent Boost Visitor Visa, and that's a 5-year visa that will allow them to visit in New Zealand. So there's no working rights, but they are able to have a multiple entry visa that would allow them to visit you for those 5 years. You flick me an email and I will give you the requirements for that. You can also look at a parent or grandparent visitor visa. This visa allows you to travel for about 18 months in a 3-year cycle, but it is broken up. So you have to do 6 months in, 6 months out. That's the general rule. And it basically will allow your parents to visit for 6 months out of a year for the next 3 years.
So there's options.
There are very many options. You can still do a general visitor visa as well. What I like to do with clients is I like to find out what exactly are you thinking about. Do you want mum to come visit for a month? Do you want dad to come visit for a week? Or are you wanting something more permanent? And then we can look at those options. If you are wanting a permanent visa, there's a parent resident visa that we can consider. There are very many options, and it's all going to be based on the specific scenario that you bring to me.
Again, a lot of questions, which you can contact her for more info. So with that, how can someone contact you if they want you as an advisor?
So you are always welcome to send me an email. My email address is desiree@networkmigration.com, and we can always set up a consultation. I love doing consultations. I love doing face-to-face meetings because I feel that potential clients and clients alike are able to absorb that information so much better, and they can have that conversation with a real-life person, and they're not trying to sift through information that you're sending them. Unfortunately, I still do need to send it to you in writing. It is a requirement of my license, but at least if we can have that conversation about those questions, I can leave confident that you understand the information, and you can leave the meeting knowing that you've covered all the questions that you had.
Then for a last question, what is your biggest piece of advice for someone considering immigration?
I think my biggest piece of advice would be knowing what you want to gain out of immigration at the end of the day. If you want to come over for a couple of years and then return to your home country, perfect. Let us know, because then we can give you advice in terms of what the best steps are for you. If you're wanting to make a country like Australia or New Zealand your home country, then we also need to adapt. We need to think about not just getting you over on a temporary visa, but how do we make that temporary visa turn into a residence visa? Most of my clients are going to be with me for 3 to 5 years. Because it's not just getting them that initial visitor visa, it's knowing what they want as a family and then helping them get those goals. That's my job. That's what I love about doing what I do. So I think be clear about what your intentions are with any advisor that you use, so that they're able to guide you in that process and get you to where you want to be in terms of what your goals are.
Thank you so much, Desiree, for sharing your valuable information with all of us for free. And if you want more information, just contact her, because she'll also give that to you for free. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you want questions on finance, watch the other interview with Ivandee. Bye.
Bye.